Hi everyone, and welcome to the second of the In the Fox's Den interviews. And I'm really happy to say that today I have got a wonderful actor who has been working for 60 years. He's been in a number of things. You'll know his face from stage and screen. He's told me to call him the veteran actor, but he's just a wonderful chap. And I know you're going to love him. You'll know him probably best as George Toolan in A Touch of Frost. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let me introduce the wonderful John Lyons. Hi, John.
Well, Rick, good morning to you. And, well, good morning from a veteran actor.
Oh, now you told me to say that, so...
I know I did. Well, that's what a lot of people call me now. And at my age, it's probably about right. But here I am, still going.
Well, you've been working for 60 years.
I have. Well, I left drama school. I went to drama school in 1961, and I did 3 years. That was the East 15 acting school.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was there on the very first day it opened. There were 3 fellas there, and I was one of them on the very first day it opened. So I went there in 61. I left in 64. So I've now been going, if you count drama school, yes, I've been going 60 odd years.
Well, I was going to ask you first about your early life and obviously your family as well, and how you're all getting on in lockdown. So first of all, let's ask you about that. How's lockdown been for you?
Well, I'm glad to say, no, lockdown has been very good. It's only my wife and I are at home. I have a wife, Anne, and Anne and I have been married now for 55 years. We met when I was 15 and Anne was 16. So we were childhood sweethearts. We got married at 21, 22, and we've now been married for 55 years. So it's just Anne and I at home, which makes it easier. I have a daughter. We have a lovely daughter, Laura Ann, and she lives probably about three miles away from us at a place called Canary Wharf. I don't know whether you know that.
I certainly do.
But she is there. So for Anne and I, because it's just myself and her at home, lockdown has been fairly easy. And I'm sure not only for me, but for most of the country, the fact that it's been excellent weather has made so much difference.
Yeah,
so much difference.
That has
because
made...
we all feel better when the sun is shining.
Yeah, and there's a lot of SAD, I think they call it.
That's very true. Absolutely
bad.
Right.
So it's good that we've had a little bit of sunshine.
Absolutely. And I live right opposite a park, a lovely park, a very big park. And Anne and I certainly go for at least a 2-mile walk a day. Anne necessarily doesn't do as far as that. But we put the masks on and we do get out for our exercise. And also for me, which is quite nice, it's happened at the right time. I have got at this moment 2 scripts that have been sent that I will be doing in the future. So I've actually been learning them. So I have been working from home.
Well, 60 years and no sign of let up then. That's
no,
and we'll come on to the scripts in a minute. So tell us how you got into acting, because obviously, Anne, if you were together at 15 and 16, she would have been with you when all this started happening.
Absolutely right. Probably that's one of the great reasons why our marriage has worked. Because when I left school, I was born in the East End of London, in Whitechapel. So I'm a true Cockney. And
me too, Walthamstow, not quite as
far.
The Bow Bells.
No, when I was born, I was very close to the Bow Bells. It was in the war, middle of the war, 1943. But yes, Anne and I, we were together when I was 15, and I didn't have, I had no ambition to be an actor. I'd never thought about it. I left school at 15. I didn't even pass my 11 plus. I had no career prospects. I had no thoughts of what I was going to do. And it just so happened that when I reached 17, I was playing football for a local pub side on Hackney Marshes. Now, Hackney Marshes in London on a Sunday, hundreds and hundreds of men and boys would play football. And I'm in my little pub scene, and it just so happened a fellow joined us who was a reporter, and he worked for the East London Advertiser, and he worked on the showbiz page. I'm sure everyone has a showbiz page in their local paper. And his name was Tom Duncan. And Tom was with us for probably about the first 5 months. And one night, while we were having football training, we then go to the pub afterwards and we were having a shandy. And it so happened that Tom that night was sitting right opposite me. And for some reason, and I never did ask him why, for some reason he turned to me and he said, "John, tell me, have you ever thought about becoming an actor?" I said, "What?" He said, "No, I mean it." He said, "There's a new drama school opening in about 3 months' time at the Theatre Royal Stratford E15. He said, "I think you should have a go at that." And he gave me the card for the secretary. Well, 2 days later, I'm looking at this card and I thought, what? I wonder. So I called and I got through to the secretary and she gave me all the details and they sent me the audition pieces, bit of Shakespeare, bit of Chekhov, and I couldn't really learn them because I couldn't understand them really. And I went to the audition and I got through. And within 2 months, I'm at drama school. And my life completely changed from there on in. And I after the first 2 weeks, I thought to myself, I quite like this. This is fun. And within about 2 weeks before I left, I said to Anne, although she wasn't at the drama school with me, but she went through it with me, if you see what I mean. I said to Anne about 2 weeks before we left, "Do you know, I think I could make a career of this." And I said to her, "Wouldn't it be wonderful if I could still be doing this when I'm 70? Wouldn't it be a wonderful life?" Well, I'm 77 and I'm still doing it.
Did Anne think you would still be doing it at 77?
No. Well, I hope to go on. I might call it a day when I'm 80. But I'm physically. Well, I know. I'm glad to say physically.
Still going on runs?
Well, I do it. And I go on tours and I will be doing a tour. So yes, I will. But for actors, if you can keep the brain going, keep your faculties ticking over, then yes, you can go on, please God, for quite a few years. But I'm looking for 80. I'll be very happy at 80. In fact, I'd be very happy now because
I'm prepared to put a bet on that you'll still be going on after that. So I'm going straight down to
Ladbrokes
straight after this. So tell us about some of the things that you've done, because obviously everybody knows you for A Touch of Frost, but I've seen you in so many other places, on TV and on stage. I know, for instance, because I was talking to you before the interview, that the longest running stage play, The Mousetrap, you've actually been in 3 times.
I have indeed, 3 separate occasions in the West End, and I played the Major, which is,
you were the Major every time, so you played.
Yes.
On each occasion. And how long were there between?
A year on each occasion. So over that 3 years, I would have done something like 1,400 performances of the same play, and believe me, that's not easy. It takes a lot of concentration. You've got to concentrate all the time because you're hearing the same words every night and you're saying the same words every night, 8 times a week. And it's just so easy to let your mind wander. And I think over those performances, I think I dried, in other words, I forgot my words, maybe on 2 occasions. And I also did the fatal thing that actors should never do. Excuse me. I missed an entrance. I forgot to come on. Well, I didn't forget. I was too busy talking backstage, and I missed an entrance. and that's shameful. You should never do that.
The audience must have thought that you were one of those that got murdered.
I didn't think of that. Good point. But no, I found it great fun, The Mousetrap. And if you get, it's an old play. Of course, it's an old play. Started in 1952. And I'm going to ask you a question.
Oh,
Trivial Pursuit question.
okay.
Can you tell me, in 1952, who was the very first leading actor in The Mousetrap?
Well, it was.
You've got 30 seconds.
7 years before I was born. But no, I can't. I failed that one, I'm afraid. I don't get a piece of cheese.
Okay, back of the class, you. Back of the class.
I'm off.
The actor-director was Richard Attenborough.
No.
Yep.
Really? He acted in it in 1952.
Oh, he stayed in it. I think he was there for the first 18 months. Wow. And his wife, Sheila Sim, she played the leading lady. So they were a double actor. That was that. So yes, I did that, and I did that. Yes, on 3 separate occasions, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was great fun. And it is an old play, but if you've got a bunch of actors, there's only 8 actors in it, of all different ages, and if you've got a good bunch of actors who gave it 100% every night, it worked, and it was good.
Yeah, no, I went to see it many years ago. I don't think there's many people now who haven't seen it.
No. And also, one of the things about that is at the end of it, the leading man swears the audience to secrecy as to not to tell who the murderer is. And you'll be surprised, Rick, how many people keep to that.
I tell you what I think, John. I think that there are a lot of people that keep to it, but I think over the years, people do know who the murderer is, but it doesn't matter now.
No.
Still go and see it anyway and still enjoy it.
No.
But for those people who don't know, I'm not going to say.
No. What we did used to get, yes, you get a lot of Japanese, you get a lot of tourists, a lot of Japanese come. A lot of people from the Low Countries, Belgium, Holland, Finland, they would come, and quite a few people would come to the dressing room and talk, stage door and talk, and they would say, we come to see this play because we're learning English, and you all speak very, very good English that we can follow, and there is no swearing or bad language. So it's good for us to see it. Now, the Americans, they come by the busload, and a lot of them say, my grandmother saw this, my mother saw this, and now it's my turn. So they hand it down to each other. And it's become, the Mousetrap is like, with tourists coming to London, and you go and see Big Ben and Tower Hill and St. Paul's and Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
And the Mousetrap.
But Agatha Christie is timeless.
It's very clever. It's very clever. So I did that, but I've also been in quite a few musicals in the West End, which have been wonderful.
Tell us about those.
Oh, I did one in 1966, again before you were born. Yes? 1966.
66. No, I was born.
We won the World Cup.
Oh,
you were born. Okay.
I was 7 when we won.
All right. I was in a play at the Criterion, a musical at the Criterion called Mrs. Wilson's Diary, and that was 66, 67. I then did Happy as a Sandbag for 2 years at the Ambassadors, and I did Oh, What a Lovely War, which was a film, but it started off as a musical on stage, and I did that for 2 years. We went all around England, all over the continent, Germany, France, Belgium, with my great friend Sir Nigel Hawthorne.
Oh, wonderful.
Nige, he was Nige at the time. He wasn't Sir Nige, he was just Nige. And he came to our wedding, Nigel. A lovely, lovely man. So I've done a lot of theatre, but most of it has been TV, a lot of TV. And I'm glad to say, which I've been so lucky, in as much as my career's covered almost everything I can think of. Yes, from theatre to repertory companies to fringe theatres. And on TV, it's covered both comedy and drama. So I've gone from one to the other, which
so
is
let's obviously everyone's going to want to hear about A Touch of Frost, but let's just talk about some of the other things that you've done on television first of all.
All right. Well, I'll tell you one. I'll tell you one that I caught yesterday. George and Mildred. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
With my great friend Brian Murph.
And Eutha Joyce.
And Eutha Joyce. Well, I did 4 of those over the years. One of them, they repeat them all the time. One was on yesterday. I did 5 episodes of On the Buses. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do, with Reg.
Yes, of course, that's it. And I did quite a few other things with Reg. Things when he did Reg Varney Entertains. I used to do the sketches with him.
Oh, I'm looking all these up as soon as.
On the buses. I did. I tell you what I did do, and which I enjoyed tremendously. I did a series with Eric Sykes called The 19th Hole. Now, Eric was a genius. He was, and that was great fun.
I had the great pleasure of having lunch in a pub with Eric Sykes and his and some of his family in a pub in Windsor when he was doing a show in Windsor, and he was a lovely man but very deaf.
Oh yes, David. Oh yeah. Yes. And also as the years went on, because he used to wear glasses like me, but he had no glass in them. But what he had a little thing here that he would touch.
Yes.
So that would be the hearing aid. And occasionally while doing a scene, he would, I got a piece of paper, and he would take his glasses off in the middle of a scene like that, and he'd take his handkerchief and put it through the glass, just to make you laugh, a little devil. Great fun. But unfortunately, as Eric went on in life, not only was he deaf, but the eyes went as well.
Oh, I had the great pleasure of being with him, but he was only deaf then.
He was only deaf at that time. Lovely man, and such a clever man. But I've worked again with so many comedians on TV in things like, do you remember Harry Worth?
Yes.
I did with Harry Worth. Mike and Bernie Winters. I did all of those things. But then again, I was so lucky, and with drama, I then went on to things like the O'Needing Line. The very early Upstairs, Downstairs, I think I did 2 episodes. The very first one, years back.
With John Alderton and Pauline Collins.
Well played, boy. Well played. I did all that. I Plays for Today. So I did a lot of drama as well as comedy.
What did you prefer, or what do you prefer, comedy or drama?
I think comedy. Because you get an instant comeback with a laugh.
Having said that, though, and we're going to come on to A Touch of Frost now, because everybody knows you as George Toolan. Yeah. So really, there's quite a lot of comedy in that character, even though it's a drama, isn't there?
Absolutely right, and that's down. That was really down to David, because David wanted to introduce, not too much, but he wanted to get bits of comedy in it, because he thought there was all the other programs like it going at the time, like Morse or Midsummer, Lewis was later, Prime Suspect. There wasn't much comedy in it. So David just liked to get bits of comedy. But I'm glad to say that he and I, from the very first day, got on well together. I had never met him before until the first read-through, but we got on well together. And we had this back and forth of sending each other up. And we took that onto the screen. And it worked.
And it shows as well.
It does, doesn't it? It looked as though we knew each other so well that we could talk to each other. In a jocular way, if you know what I mean. Yeah. And it looks as though we had worked, that Toolan and Frost had worked together for many, many years.
And producers and directors must have.
And it worked. But he would invent, David, clever actor, and he would invent little bits of business that would build up a character. And he would nick my coffee. And then he'd nick my chips. Silly things that are so small, but they mean something to the viewing public.
Yes, they do, and as I say, it
Builds the character
as real chemistry.
Yeah,
as well. And
David was such a generous actor, in as much as he wanted everybody to be part of it. It wasn't just a vehicle for him, the star of the show, which it was, but he wanted everybody to be part of it. He used to give me some of his lines. He'd say, "No, let that silly devil say this." He would give it to me, whereas most actors, "Oh no," and they want to finish with the close-up. But he would say, "No, go away from me. Go to him. Go to him."
It's lovely working with someone.
Oh my God, actors don't do that, but he did. Generous.
So how many years altogether were you in A Touch of Frost?
Well, we did 17 and a half years.
Wow. I didn't realise it was that long.
Oh yes, 17 and a half years. We finished in 2009, so that's from now 11 years ago. And as you know, they still repeat. Still repeat on ITV3, and they will for many, many years to come. Not only us, but Midsummer and Morse. Well, they must have cost so much to make that you must be able to get your money back somewhere in repeats. Plus, they sell it. I know it goes abroad. I think this goes around the world, I think, to at least 84 different countries, which is tremendous. So yes, we did 17 and a half years. We did 43 episodes. They were either 2 hours or 4 hours. And out of that, I only missed 2 of them. And I only missed them because I was doing something else at the time and I couldn't get time off. So I just missed 2 for that reason. So I'm in 41 of them.
Has there ever been any talk of it coming back?
No. And I hope it doesn't, because I hope I don't spoil this for anybody. But in the very last episode, they killed me off. No, they killed me off.
Episode, you've just ruined that for me.
I know. Well, you asked me. It's your own fault. In that last episode, I tell you.
Yes, but we all saw Dallas. That can be a dream.
Yeah, I know. People said that I should come out the shower.
Yeah.
No, I tell you what we did on the very last episode. It was 4 hours long, and one of us was going to get killed. It was either going to be Frost, Toolan, or the superintendent. One of us was going to have to go, and that was going to be the ending of it. And we filmed 3 different endings. 3 different deaths.
Wow! So as you were filming it, you really didn't know.
We had sealed envelopes of the last scene, but we filmed 3 different endings, and they didn't make their mind up. They made the mind up which one to use on the day it went out on TV. So no one else knew.
So the media couldn't get hold of it.
No, exactly right. Well played. David Jason and David Reynolds, the producer. They're the only 2 who knew, and they made the decision. And that night, I was actually in the Mousetrap that night. It was out, and I'd seen the Sunday one, the first 2 hours, and the Monday night of 2 hours I hadn't seen, and I was working in the theatre. My wife watched it at home on her own, and by the time I came home, it was about 10:15, and it had finished at 10 o'clock. And I walked into the lounge, and there was my wife with tears coming down her face. So I knew it was me.
Oh,
the end of George.
That's how you found out.
The end of George. And that's how I found out. And so many people tell me, it's weird. So many people tell me, do you know, when they killed you off, I did cry. And I said, so did my wife.
Well, I haven't seen it yet. I've got my
we'll watch it.
I've got my tears to come.
Yes, you have. But now you
the end of
No.
George, but it certainly isn't the end of John Lyons. And
Oh,
you
God.
you've got 2 scripts. So tell us a couple of the scripts that you've.
Well,
Is one of those Father Brown? Because I know
one
that
is
you're going
Father Brown. Yeah,
on
exactly
the
right.
tour on stage as Father Brown.
That's right. As you know, Father Brown is very popular on TV.
Yes.
That's not me on TV, but it's a very popular program, and it's on at this moment. Um,
I think
and
it's
we did.
Mark Williams, is it? That's
I think
currently
well played.
on TV.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is indeed, and very good he is. I did it on stage. I think we did a tour about 5 years ago. Excuse me, and it went down very, very well. We toured all over the country, and it went very well. So this chappie, John Goodrum, who runs Rumpus Theatre Company.
Yeah.
Lovely man. He writes it, he directs it, he acts in it. He even does the lighting. He's an all-round clever clogs. He's written another complete different Father Brown, which I do like very much, and that's what I'm learning now. And we're hoping to start a tour in this September. We hope, and that will go on so far until next March. But I will stop in the middle of it for pantomime.
And where are you in pantomime this year?
This year, pantomime, I will be doing Cinderella at the Marina Theatre, Lowestoft. So that's the Marina Theatre, Lowestoft, and with a bit of luck, if it goes ahead, and please God it does, it will be from the 11th of December until the 1st of Jan. And that's for a lovely company called Paul Holman Associates. And if you go on to that, if anyone wishes to.
Well, what we'll do is obviously for both your show
yes.
and the pantomime, we'll give the viewers little links as to where they can buy tickets. But what's been said to you at the moment about them going ahead? Where are they at the moment?
Well, John Goodrum of Rumpus Theatre Company, he came through the other day, and we have got theatres booked from Blackpool to Peterborough to the Isle of Wight to Chesterfield. We've got them booked, but a lot of them now, because of the virus, a lot of them may have to reschedule. They may have to. But at the moment, on their websites, Rumpus Theatre Company, on their websites, I think those venues are up, but they could be rescheduled. You don't know.
Well, look, I'll get the links off of you as to where people can buy tickets, because obviously if things get rescheduled, the tickets will still be.
Oh, yes, indeed. They can do that. And if they are rescheduled, you will be told when they're going to be replayed again, because as we all know, everything is up in the air at the moment.
Well, if people aren't going to see you as George again, then they're definitely going to want to see you on stage. So we'll make sure.
Unless they go on P&O cruises.
Tell us about P&O cruises. I was going to come to them. You're doing my job.
Oh, were you? Good, because that's the other string I have to my bow. I do. I've probably now. It's probably about my 32nd cruise. And that happened. P&O came to my agent and just said, "Does John ever give talks?" And I thought, well, no, I don't, but I'll think of one. And I did, and I talk about my life and what have you, and it's worked. And Anne comes with me. It's now 32, and we've lost 2 this year because of the virus. I've got another one coming up. I'm booked for one. I've signed for November, starting in Italy and going around the Med. Fantastic. Whether that will come off, heaven only knows. So but
you're mixing holidays with work here, aren't you?
For Anne, it's a holiday.
Yeah.
For me, it's work.
Yeah.
But I've never. What I do, I don't.
No.
Regard
if you're doing something for 60
you enjoy.
Years,
I don't.
then you must see it as.
This is what I do is not work. What my mother did was work, scrubbing the floors all night for years, and that's work. People work, actors work. We do, but it's fun.
Well, listen, people love the work that you do, and they've loved it for a long time. It seems that almost everything that you do is connected to longevity. So you've been married for 55 years. You've been in the business for 60 years. You've been 3 times in Agatha Christie's Mousetrap, which is the longest running play ever. And you were George for 17 and a half years. So no one can suggest you're a fly-by-night, can they, John?
No, I wasn't here today and gone tomorrow.
You definitely.
Well, I hope I'm not gone tomorrow.
Which brings me to the fact that you are writing your autobiography, which I am very proud and honoured to be agenting, which is called Not Just George. So tell us a little bit about that, because I'm really looking forward to working with you on this. So tell us a little bit about your forthcoming autobiography.
Not working.
What's not working?
Now you've come back.
Oh, have I come back? Have I come back? That was a really important bit as well.
You should start that bit again.
Your autobiography.
Yeah, and then you went funny.
I disappeared. No,
you didn't. Your voice disappeared.
My other half, Beverly, she'll tell you I go funny quite a lot. So
all right.
But obviously happened to you that time.
You don't get arrested for it. You're okay.
What I was saying, John, was I'm really looking forward to agenting your new autobiography, Not Just George.
Yes.
Which, as everybody watching this can tell, is going to cover a plethora of stories and anecdotes from your working life. So tell us a little bit about this autobiography.
Well, over the years, just flipping back very quickly to P&O, yes, because I've done that so many times, and a lot of people say to me afterwards, not only to me, but they say to my wife privately, has John ever written a book? And I say, no, I haven't. I haven't got the dedication to sit down and do things like this. I need someone to push me. On my own, I would probably never do it. So over the years, I've thought about it. And then my agent, Patsy Martin, she said, John, you should do it. And so, yes, I wrote a synopsis. And I'm glad to say you've seen it, you've read it, and you wish to take it further. And yes, within it, not only what things that I've been talking about today, there are so many other things that I have to talk about. I have a story which I can't tell you now, because I was born around the corner from the Cray twins, Ronnie and Reggie. They lived around the corner. Now, I was younger than they, but I did have a very big incident. In fact, they saved my life, Ronnie and Reggie, particularly Reggie. So there's a story there. There's
a reason for everyone to buy the book. So
I also have a wonderful story about Jack the Ripper. Now, I wasn't born, but my grandfather was, and my grandmother was. So there's lots of stories like this, and there's also some little naughty stories about actors and actresses, which require swear words that I won't say now, but I think we could put them in the book, even if they start with the F and then ... K. Things like that. So there's a lot.
I don't think what word you can possibly be thinking of, John.
No, I know. So there's a word we all know. So there's a lot to say, because it's been not only a long life, but a very happy and a successful one, I'm glad to say, and still going on.
It is, and this has been wonderful, and I've loved talking to you. I'm going to love working with you. I think anybody watching this will really, really want to see you on stage, go on those cruises, watch all the old episodes of everything that you've ever been in, from On the Buses to A Touch of Frost.
Yes.
And also buy the book when it comes out. So, John, I really, really thank you. I wish you and Anne stay safe during this lockdown period. But eventually we will all get together when all of this madness is over. But thank you so much. This has been a really, really wonderful time. I don't really want to end it, to be honest.
Well,
we're going to have to. But
thank you. But if I may say also thank you to you as well. And you've made it very easy. So thank you.
Well, you are a very, very easy person to talk to, John. So
yeah. Tell my wife that, will you?
Tell my other half that as well. John
Thank
Lyons,
you.
Thank you very, very much for coming into the Fox's Den. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye, Rick.